Trying to fix my hair. Today we are going to be doing tissue holders, travel tissue holders. Love these. It's not going to take us 2 hours. We're going to be in and out. So I have a couple things, like two quick things that I want to talk about before we get on to our project. So if you're here, let me know in the chat where you're tuning in from. That's always interesting. We often have all over the United States and hopefully London, because we're doing this today at this time to catch Europe. Specifically for someone in London, I can't remember exactly who had requested that, but I always have a soft spot in my heart for London because that is where my son lives. Love to visit, but it is very, very far from Portland, Oregon. All right, this is the first thing I want to talk about. Are you familiar with Pantone and Pantone Colors of the Year? Let me know in the comments if you've ever heard of this, if you're familiar with this. But basically, Pantone is like the color authority. They kind of coordinate all the color for the... Hold on. Are we having problems? Okay. Hi, Brenda. Okay, Ontario, Canada. All right. I was like, is this even working? Okay. Can you hear me okay? It's giving me some weird warning about bit rate. I don't know why. I'm hardwired into my internet. Ay, 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 ay. Okay, anyway, back to Pantone. So Pantone is the color authority in the world. And as an artist and designer, I design not only fabric, but art for all kinds of products. We have to pay attention to Pantone because they are the people that decide, they kind of decide color trends, and they always pick a color of the year. And one of the reasons that Pantone, okay, thank you, Brenda. She can hear me, yay. So one of the reasons that Pantone is kind of considered a color person is because they are the ones that help coordinate dyes and, you know, all the print inks and things like that. They help set standards for the manufacturers, and they are the people that help, in addition to other trend people, but they are really the main people that help make sure we can get products that match in our house, right? So you'll notice as we go through the years, there's, you know, oh, everything's neutral. Oh, now blue is in, and now purple is in, now this is in, now that is in, and that all starts from Pantone. And so this year, this just happened this week, that's why I thought I would bring this up. They have chosen Mocha Mousse as their color of the year. Let me know in the chat what you think about this color. So some people are super excited that they have picked a neutral. I saw somebody say, yay, they didn't pick a purple. I personally love purple. Kaufman Fabrics has picked a beautiful purple called Nocturne. Someone else I cracked up, they said that they think this Mocha Mousse looks like Legs pantyhose eggs. And if you are of an age that you remember when you used to be able to, when A, people wore pantyhose, and B, you would buy it in that cute little egg from Legs. So they said that the color of the year is pantyhose color. So they're not a huge fan. I also saw a email this morning from a quilter who said, yeah, they're not doing this color, but they're loving the purple, so they're going to be playing with that. So very interesting. I just thought I would let you know you're going to start seeing this color come into fashion in home decor probably in the next 2 to 3 years, because when they announce it, then designers start working with it, manufacturers start working with it, and then it gets into the field. Now, people like quilt designers, because we have solids, we could throw that out to you right now, like tomorrow, if somebody's really fast. But to get into the more retail cycle, it takes a little bit of time. So I just thought I would share that. That's the first thing I wanted to share. Oh, Brenda, I'm glad you love that color. I will love that color with other color. I don't know. It didn't super excite me, but it's going to blend well because it's nice. It is a very nice neutral. Now, the next thing I wanted to show you is what I'm working on right now. I think I did this, if you were at my first live, I think I showed you my Hanukkah strike-offs. So I am a fabric designer for Riley Blake, and this is one of my new collections coming out I believe this one is going to ship in July of 2025. There is a spring summer version that is shipping in January. Covered Bridges in spring, we're calling it. This one is called Covered Bridges in fall. And so I just wanted to give you a little sneak peek behind the curtain of how fabric design works, at least at Riley Blake. I've worked for another company. I didn't get to do this, but I do love that I get to see strike-offs of everything before it gets approved to go into production. So this is one of the 4 squares on one of the panels. There's also a really big panel that has this quote, but with a different covered bridge. But what I get to do is get all picky. It's so funny. I had a new fabric line show up where it was the bolts of fabric, and hello, Georgia, from Georgia, Amy from Georgia. So I had bolts of fabric come, and I was opening them, and my husband says, "Oh, so what do you think of these colors? Are you going to nitpick them now? Isn't that what we do?" And I was like, "Oh, no, no. We do not nitpick the colors once they're on the bolts. We nitpick the colors when they're like this, when they're called strike-offs." So I'll show you the first nitpick. And this is kind of very color related too, because it's our job to make sure everything matches for you. And this is not working for me. So you'll see, I love this green, this kind of soft that they put. This is the main print with all the covered bridges. And then there's a leaf toss. Love that green. But then this one is way too like lemony. There's too much yellow in it. It doesn't coordinate well enough. I want this background green to match this. And I want the texture to be a lot softer, more like this. Same for the acorns. The color is better. It matches here, but it's still too much texture. So that's some of the feedback that I gave on that. Then I'll just quickly flip through and show you this is coming, and a similar is coming, but for spring, summer, so with flowers. So these are the main prints. Then we're going to have this toile look on a cream, red, and then the green that they're going to fix. The leaves. Sometimes they give me an A and a B. So see how that's written on the back? B, A. And I have to decide which one I like. And sometimes it's easy to tell the difference. This one, I can barely tell a difference. I think I picked B because it was a little bit brighter. Then the same leaves, but in more of a tight toss. Hello, Diane from Vermont. Oh, thank you. I'm glad we're going to do Hanukkah fabric every other year. I talked to one of the owners of Riley Blake, and he is committed to that, and he is committed to making sure they're available during the off years too. So this is the leaf. This is going to be the tonal. This was another one I wasn't thrilled with. It's got too much gold in there. It makes it look weird splotchy instead of makes sense splotchy. You see the difference? Because this splotchy is all the same tone and color. This one got yellow in there, so they need to work on that one. This one toned down the back, and then the acorns. So anyway, I just wanted to share that. I want to share that with you. A peek into my life. Now I'm bringing up our project, and we are going to get started. So let's see. Oh, let's see. Louise, purple. She's a purple girl like me. Mocha Mousse looks like mud in New Hampshire. We have a lot of mud here sometimes too. It rains a lot in Portland, Oregon. Yeah, I think this Mocha Mousse selection, kind of like purple, is very polarizing. People are either really liking it or they're really not liking it. I mean, to compare it to pantyhose and then compare it to mud, not saying a lot for how much people like that color. So, but I don't get to decide. Before I get started on the tissue covers, because this is going to be an easy one. I'm so excited about this one. This is a really popular one. I want to let you know, okay, I want to ask you a question. I don't want to let you know anything yet. I want to ask you a question. So this is my last live that I have scheduled, except I do have one scheduled for my members at the Sew with Tara Reid membership today at 11, so in 2 hours. And we're going to be doing eyeglass cases and nine ways. I went down a rabbit hole. Couldn't just do that simple. If you want to get in on that, you can sign up for the $1 trial, and then you will be able to join that live. I'm going to pop the link in there for that if you are interested. And basically, you get to check it out, see what's in there for 7 days. The Siberian Wind, what a fun name. Hello and welcome. Anyway, I put the link for the $1 trial. If you want to try that, you can jump in and see what my membership is all about. I just launched it last month and it is only growing. It's got a great technique library, lots of projects, a lot of tutorials you can download. I'm going to make everything ad-free. We're growing, still working on it, but we're going to be doing a live at 11 that you can join if you want to, after this, jump in and join that $1 trial. So, but that wasn't a question, was it? The question is, what do you think about a live between Christmas and New Year's? Or even on New Year's Eve, but earlier, because I don't think anybody should be drinking champagne and sewing. I'm debating. I'm going to be putting that poll on my community tab on my YouTube channel to get feedback. I have the time to do it. I just want to know if anyone is interested in that and would want to show up before I start preparing what exactly we would do. So if you want to throw it in the chat, if you like that idea, when you would want to do it, or if you want to wait and do it on the community tab, totally cool. Either way. So let's get started on our project. Get this all situated. So today we are doing travel tissue holder covers. So, I mean, Kleenex, they're cute, and some of them have fun sayings. I had another one somewhere. Oh, yes. Like, I think this is fun. Take all these and call me in the morning. But it's not as fun as this, or cute. My niece's husband, he's so funny. He once said to us, we were going shopping for furniture, and he once said to us, now remember, function is the most important thing over form, over how something looks. And I just laughed and I said, oh, no, you have that backwards. Why would we not want something to be pretty if it could be and still be functional? So we kind of disagree on that, but we had a good giggle over it. So I love making these because they're cute and they are great gifts and they are great to use your fabric scraps, and they sew up so easy, you're not even going to believe it. Now the big poll I've been having on my video that's been on my YouTube channel about this is box corners versus not. Box corners is really winning. And I will say that I am team box corners. It just gives a much more finished look. It doesn't take a lot longer. But if I was making a lot of them, like say my son was still in school and I was going to make them for all the teachers and staff, and I was making like 100 or 50 or however many, then I would do this because this is faster and I would just be wanting to whip these out. So I'm going to show you how we do both of these, and then I'm going to show you, and this sounds silly right now, but it is kind of important. I'm going to show you how to put the tissues in so that they work well in here. So let's talk about what we need. We just need 2 pieces of fabric. We need a piece of fabric that is 5.5 inches by 6.5 inches, and this is going to be the outside. And I have to tell you, if you feel like that seems weird, I have to think about that every time too, because the bigger piece is the inside. And the reason is that the bigger piece becomes this cute little trim. Let me put these tissues inside so we can see it better. Get that away so it's distracting. Okay, so see, this is the outside, is the blue, and then the inside has these sunflowers, and it becomes this like 1/4 inch trim at the opening. Very, very cool and fun. Now, the other thing, if you have watched many of my videos, oh, it sounds like we might be sewing on New Year's Eve so far. Cool. I'm down. If you've watched many of my other lives, I often say, okay, now if you want to do directional fabric, you're going to have to jump through a few more hoops to get this done, and it's not going to be as quick and easy. But I am very, very happy to tell you today that is not true, because the way this works, it folds around, so you can use directional fabric and you still only have to cut 1 piece. No extra steps. How awesome is that? I'm going to be using the sunflowers just because I love how the golds and the browns and everything coordinate on there on that strip. But you will notice from this 7.5-inch wide piece of fabric, all you're seeing are these 2 strips. So if you're not using a print that has a lot of density to it, or you're not, you know, you don't have a ton of the printed fabric and you have a lot of solids, I would probably go with a solid. And let me find an example to show you. Oh no, that's not what I was going to show you. Hold on. This is what I was going to show you. So here is an example of what would happen if you did it the opposite direction. So if the sunflowers are on the outside and this blueprint is on the inside, you get a cute blue versus that. So this is the same 2 fabrics, but you put a different one on the inside and the outside, so very, very different look. It's one thing I love about sewing. We have so much control over how everything looks in the end. So. What we're going to do is we're going to put these right sides together. If they're both directional, you do want to, somebody wants to say serger or sewing machine. Serger, if you have one for this project. I do not have one currently, so I'm going to show everybody how to do it with a sewing machine and a zigzag stitch, but you can use a serger, 100%. Okay. Directional fabric. If you're using directional fabric, and this really isn't directional, make sure when you put them right sides together, they're in the same direction. So we're going to go right sides together and we're going to line up one side. So this side is lined up and we're going to sew that together. And you'll notice this is longer because we cut it an inch longer. And then we're going to do this and we're going to sew that side together. So it's going to make like this little bubble action, but we want that. So let me plug in my iron so it is ready when we are. And now we are going to go sew this together. Okay, camera 3. Wake our sewing machine back up. All right. Oh, yay. I'm so glad someone is here from the UK because I specifically did this for you. Oh, I think you're the one who asked me to, too. Okay, so I'm at my sewing machine. It's a little harder for me to see comments, so if you make a comment or ask a question, I will try and peek, or else I will do it when I'm back closer to the computer. So again, if you have been with me on many of my lives, you're going to be like, what? She doesn't have a walking foot on. It's true. It freaks me out. I'm a big fan of walking feet, but I'm also a big fan of not having to change my foot in the middle of a live, and this, we're just doing straight stitching, so this is going to work. So I'm just going to sew a 1/4 inch from the edge on this side. And I just have a basic utility foot that can do all the fun decorative stitches and also do the zigzag that we're going to need. Okay, so we've sewn. Why did that not cut? Okay, we've sewn down that side. And now, make sure you can see this. I'm just going to take and move this edge, so I'm matching the other 2 sides on the short side. And we're going to sew with a 1/4 inch there as well. And if you want to pin or clip it, you can. I find with this size material, I can usually hold it and have no issue. I do also, I'm not going to pull the bobbin thread up because if we get, look, I did get a bird's nest. See how that bird's nest there? But it's going to be on the inside, so I'm just going to save a couple of seconds and not worry about it. But I am going to hold this thread to help it not be quite so bad. So these would make really, really cute stocking stuffers, I think. Great for people with allergies. I like to change mine a little bit seasonally. All right, you can, I don't know, you can see that I left the sewing machine without announcing it to you. How rude. Let's see. Oh, somebody's making make-ahead Christmas gravy. I don't know about that. Ah, we could make Christmas tree decorations. All right, I have a couple videos on my YouTube channel for Christmas tree decorations, but let's get back to tissues. So this is the front, this is the back, this is the bubble. We're going to turn it right side out. And then we're just going to move this, just kind of roll it around until our sunflowers, which is our back, our lining fabric, is even on both sides. Okay? And then we're going to press that flat. And then I'm going to use my favorite little tool, my clapper, to cool that fabric off and really secure that crease. I know, isn't that? I wear this ring for every video, and somebody gave it to me, so I'm not exactly sure where it's from. It's not really quality, like it's a very thick thing. So my guess is, I don't know, you might check Temu or AliExpress. It might be on there, but yeah, I love it. Okay, so we have that pressed. And now what we're going to do is we're going to fold into the center. And you can either do that by eye. It's a little crooked there. Why is it crooked? All right. Finished over perfect. Okay, so we're folding these two into the center. And you can either do that by eye, or you can do it this way. Just fold it in half, finger press it, because we really don't need a pressed crease there. We're just using it for a guideline. And then fold these sides into that crease. That's really bothering me because it is going to matter when we sew that end together. Going on. And now we're going to press. This could be a great project to do with kids, or to even teach kids how to sew. They could make their own teacher gifts. Or if you do not want them at the sewing machine, they can just help you with the folding and the clipping. Where are my clips? Hold on. I'm back. So I usually just put one clip to hold that together. You can do more if you'd like. Now the next thing we're going to do is we're going to go to the sewing machine, and you can either use your serger and go down both sides, or you can straight stitch, but I'm going to zigzag stitch, because if you only straight stitch, you're going to get a lot more fraying on the inside of your tissue pack, and I don't think anybody wants to end up with like a big old string of fabric when they go to blow their nose. No, I don't. Now I made big old strings. All right, so we're going back to the sewing machine. Everybody wants my ring. I'll see if I can find it. It is a fun one. Hold on, before we go to the sewing machine, I will also, since you're salivating over those, did you see my earrings? Those are cute too. They're little laser cut quilt blocks, and Charla from the Hartzell Homestead gave me those. She sells them online. I believe they have an Etsy shop. Let's see. I'll put a, let's see, earrings. Look up the Hartzell Homestead. I know she's online, like on social media too. So you'll be able to find her. Okay, now I will go back to the sewing machine. But our jewelry is important. Gotta have fun in life, right? All right, so now I'm gonna grab a piece of scrap fabric, and I'm gonna set my sewing machine to a zigzag, and Mine gives me two options. I can choose a right set needle or a middle set needle for zigzag. If you have the option, I like choosing the right set because then I know where the outer edge of the zigzag is going to be easier. And the reason I have this cute little fabric, which looks like a big old mess because it's just a let's test the stitching fabric, is because I want to double check what I'm doing before I'm doing it on my tissue. I'm trying to remember what I did. Okay, so I'm setting it to 4 wide. I guess that's 4 millimeters. And like a 1.8 long. So I'm going to just test that on this fabric before we sew. Whoop. What the? Oh, that's fun. I need to do a zigzag and it's sewing straight. What on earth is going on with my sewing machine? It didn't do that yesterday. I made like 5 of them. Okay, let's try that again. Come on, sewing machine, don't do this to me. Oh, this is a lot of fun. All right, anybody know how to fix that? Egads. What? Okay, well, we're just going to have to, you know, the show must go on. We're going to troubleshoot that later. I'm going to go back to a straight stitch, and I'm going to show you on one that I sewed after I sew this, you know, well, yeah, what it's supposed to look like. Oh my goodness. Okay, so I'm going to sew a 1/4 inch from the edge. Here we go. We're going to punt. So if for some reason you don't have a zigzag stitch where it decides it doesn't like you, whoa, that's not working well either. When you're making it, hopefully not live. I don't know why that didn't go back. Then what I would do is I would do 2 straight stitches because that is going to help reduce your fraying issue. And the second one I'm doing really, really close to the end. The sewing machine and I are going to have a talk. I'm not happy about this. All right, I'll try turning it off and back on. I just turned it on though. I should have tested it this morning. It's early here though. I spent time checking my cameras and putting on my face. Okay, let's see. Let's see if it works. Get my scrap fabric back out. Set my stitch. Okay, everybody cross your fingers, please, for me. Nope, it's still not doing it. There's something very much awry here. Like, why would it not be? I don't know. I don't know. Okay, that's for later. All right, so if you don't have a zigzag, do this. 2 rows of stitching because then it's not going to fray all the way to your stitching. It's going to work better. And I will be right back, and I'm going to grab another one. Okay, I'm going to grab this one. All right, now I magically have one that has zigzag. Thankfully, I did that yesterday. So if you just want a basic one without the boxed corners, you would just turn this right side out now, push out the corners, and then put in the tissues. But I'm going to show you how to do the boxed corners. Let's see. I'm just looking to see if we can see this well enough. Okay. So You need a ruler and a pen or a pencil. And what you're going to do is you're going to line this edge up with this fold. It's just like making boxed corners. So you're going to take this and you're going to pull this out to make a triangle. And you're just going to make sure that this edge, the sewn edge of your zigzag, lines up with where this folds on the side. And then make sure you fold this, these all, make sure you can see this. Make sure you fold all of these in the same direction. I fold them towards the back. Then you're going to put this down. I'm hesitating because YouTube's slightly behind what I'm doing, so I'm making sure you can see this. So you want to have the back up, because if you were to draw the line on this side, it's a lot harder to see because of that folded and all the zigzags. So I always draw on this side. And then I'm going to put the point 3/8 of an inch. Well, put the ruler on the point at 3/8 of an inch, and then make sure this is even. And then I'm just going to draw a line. Now, if you're making a lot of these, you could put a piece of tape on your ruler just so it makes it that much faster and easier for your eyes to see what you're doing. So this is just a little piece of washi tape. It's very low tack. If you're into paper crafts, card making, or planning, you're going to know what this is. You can get it at craft stores. It comes in all different colors and styles. I use it a lot for marking things. So on the next one, it's going to be a lot faster because I don't have to go, oh, is it at the right dot? I can just make sure it's at that piece of tape. Then we are just going to straight stitch. And I usually just go forward and back, and that will get everything knotted. And then I do trim off like all the little extra threads. So I'm going to show you how I marked that on my overhead workstation too, just to make sure you could see it really well. All right, so we have that one box corner, that's a weird accent, this box corner done. So now we're just going to do the same thing on this side. I'm going to pull the opening and the back. I'm going to make sure the zigzag is pressed towards the back because it's going to look weird if this is twisted. So towards the back. Then I'm going to put my ruler down, make sure the point is right at the tape. And that this looks like a nice, what is this, isosceles triangle? Okay, you could see it. Okay. Oh, and you're trying to help me figure out my zigzag. Yeah, I'm going to troubleshoot that later. I have no idea what's happening. It was skipping a stitch yesterday, but it was still zigzagging. Why it's not doing it at all, I did nothing to it overnight. The gremlins came. Okay, anyway, you want to make sure that this is on the point and that these two sides are equidistant from this. So I put the point on the 1/2 inch mark, and you can see this ends, what is that, 1/8 of an inch from the 1 and 1/8 of an inch from the 2. So I know I have that lined up really well to make a nice boxed corner. Draw that line, kind of hard to see on that sunflower, and then I would sew that. I don't think you need to watch me sew that 4 times. Instead, I'm just going to show you what it looks like when it's done. Okay, so when it's done, looks like that. You have all 4 corners are sewn, and then you're just going to turn it right side out. And you have beautiful boxed corners. Zoom in a little bit. Don't need that much. You don't need to be looking at my iron. We're done ironing. Okay, so I have beautiful boxed corners. That's how easy it is. So you either have the flat, so this is a older one that I've been using, doesn't have many tissues left in there. So you either have the not box corners, which looks very different when there's barely any tissues. Here we go. So if you don't do the box corners, it kind of sticks out a little bit like that versus the boxed corners like that. Super easy. Now, let me give you a couple tips for putting in your tissues, and then we are actually done. If you're going to be giving these to teachers or coworkers, things like that, basically people that are not in your family, I would leave it in the plastic bag. If you're doing it for yourself or giving it to somebody in your family, I prefer it out of the plastic bag. And out of the plastic bag will help me explain how to put this in. So your tissue stack, you have the one side where it pops up, which is going to be the side that opens if you keep it in the plastic bag, versus this side where it's the bottom fold. So if you take it out, you need to make sure the pop-up side is up. And then you're going to just put these in, put it in one side, and then pull the other side and put that in. And then you just kind of straighten it out and organize it, and then you can pop that first part out if you want to, because then it looks cute. And that is done. And then my parents were both left-handed, so if I was giving it to them, I would just do that and say, hold it that way, Dad, and then it's a left-handed, because he loved to point out how everything was made for right-handers. And so I always think about that. I'm like, okay, it's a left-handed tissue holder or a right-handed tissue holder. Works for everybody. Although he might point out the directional fabric, but that is neither here nor there. So this works just as well if you have the plastic on. And I usually do take the label off, but I guess if you're giving it to somebody, you can just let them do that later. Just shove that in there. It's ready to go. As long as you've gotten this sewn together where this is really nice and tight, you're not going to see that plastic. If it wasn't together as well, you might, like if this wasn't touching, you might see a little bit of the plastic or the color. But overall, especially with the box corners, you can get it to look really nice. And then people can just open that up and pop that out. Now, one thing I am going to tell you, let's see. Oh, my needle changes by itself. See, this is why I'm spoiled. My sewing machine practically makes me coffee. So why it doesn't do zigzag today is just, it doesn't make any sense. Okay, so what I want to tell you is we often think, oh, let's go to the Dollar Tree for our supplies, but they're not always cheaper. I just popped a link in the chat to, it's a affiliate link to Amazon. It is a lot cheaper to buy like 12, 24 packs of these and get the actual Kleenex brand on Amazon than to go pay $1.25 each at the Dollar Tree. Or, go to Target, wherever, but do some price shopping. Some things are less expensive there and other things are not. So if you're going to be doing this, definitely check on that. So now I want to know, now I want to know who you're going to make these for. Just give me a little chat. What do you think of this project? Do you think you're going to give it a try? I do have a written tutorial that shows you pictures and does all these steps in my Etsy shop. I don't have a link ready to pop in there for you, but you can find it. But it is also free in my membership. So I did give you that link. I'm going to show you that again. Let's see. So my membership is basically, I'm basically building what I wish I had when I was learning to sew. But of course, I'm so old, there was no internet when I was learning to sew. We learned from people, classes, in-person classes, or books. So what I'm trying to do is create a place that has lots of quick tutorials. So you can like jump in and be like, hey, she mentioned pulling up the bobbin thread, but didn't show me how to do that. How rude. There's a video for that. There's also going to be videos for full projects. There's going to be written information for projects as well. And, oh, Yeah, teenage girl backpacks. That's perfect. Making them for a family. Oh, this would be a great for seniors. This could be a great like scouting project too if they're doing service. I know we used to, when I was in the Girl Scouts, we used to make things and then we would go Christmas Carol at the senior homes and give them, I don't know, we often did cute little things that you put on the bottom of a candy cane. But if they're working on a sewing badge, they could also do something like this. Um, my niece and nephews enter a lot of things into the county fair near here and they win a lot of money. It's great. I've never done that. And so I could totally see, you know, a 10-year-old winning some money if they're making these for the county fair. Yep, great charity project for the guild. And just a great way to use up your scrap fabric quickly. Because if you have, you know, 6.5-inch, 7.5-inch scraps of fabric from quilts or other projects that you worked on, you can just whip up some of these and get them done. I think this would also be a great project to sew and sell. One thing that I think sometimes people don't think about when they're going to sell things is how long it's actually going to take them to make it. This is fast, especially if you do the Henry Ford assembly line version. You can just cut all your fronts, cut all your backs, do all your straight stitching, do all of your ironing, do all of your zigzag because your machine's not acting up like mine. And then, you know what I mean? Like each step, just do a bunch of them and you could whip these out really fast. So, okay, make a couple for yourself. I like to make them seasonal. So I need like a Christmas one, and then I'll need a Valentine's Day one. Oh, the other thing I want to tell you before we go, so I have a little bit of rest time before my next live for my membership, is you could also personalize these. If you do machine embroidery, you could embroider somebody's name on one side. If you have a Cricut machine or any other cutting machine and do like heat transfer stuff, if you did a more solid, or I guess you could do it on this, you could put somebody's name or you could put a fun little saying like for your happy tears. I did little envelopes for my son's wedding that had 2 tissues in each and we did for your happy tears. So you could do that if you wanted to do a bigger one. Oh, these would be a great gift for moms for graduation. Oh my gosh, I'm totally doing that. My nephew is graduating from college in May. His mom is going to be a mess. I'm going to make her a graduation one, and it's going to say, like, for proud mama tears. Okay. Oh, so Helen has been selling these. They sell okay. Okay, well, try this style. See how they sell. All right, so that is it. I will keep you posted on whether we're going to sew together between Christmas and New Year's. From the comments that I did get in the chat, it looks like New Year's Eve people like. So maybe during the day, kind of a kickback day, right? I don't know. We don't want to sew at midnight, I don't think, because boy, oh boy, when it hits midnight for me, most of you are going to be asleep because I'm on the West Coast. Let's see. Oh, this would be great for a cancer bag for donation. Yep, that's such a good idea. All right. Well, thank you guys for joining me. I will be in touch. I have definitely learned how to get this done, get my cameras right, and have fun and not be so nervous as I was with my first one. So thank you all for showing up and helping me learn this and chatting with me so I don't feel like I'm just staring at a camera. And we will figure out what we're going to do into the new year. I am going to do lives. I don't think I can do every week. It is so much work because I also just always go down the rabbit hole of doing too much, too many options. Although, oh, if you were here last week, my husband did laugh really hard when I told him that people commented that I didn't overwhelm them. He really enjoyed that, so thank you. I'm thinking maybe one Wednesday night and one Saturday, so we can hit like, oh, US can come to either, Australians can come to the evening ones, the Europe and the UK can come to the morning one. So I will keep you posted on that. Stay tuned. Make sure you have signed up for my sewing newsletter. You can do that on my website at tarareid.com, which I just totally revamped, totally reorganized, updated, looks so much prettier. I think it's going to be a lot easier for you to navigate. I will also obviously be announcing when upcoming lives will be on my YouTube channel. And I think that's all I have to say for today. Have happy holidays if I don't see you. I won't see you before. I'm actually going to India on Monday and for my son's third wedding. They had to have a legal wedding and then they had a fun wedding in London in September, and his wife is Indian, and so they're having her whole extended family for a Hindu wedding next weekend. So I will be wearing a really fancy sari this time next week. Very excited, not excited about the flight, um, but very excited to experience that. So I will share some of that with you too. All right. Have a great day. And if you decide you want to join me in an hour, sign up for that $1 trial and you can join me for my membership live, which is probably going to be a little bit longer because I went down more of a rabbit hole. All right.